I sit here now watching the end credits for The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And where does it sit on my ranking? I don't know yet. We'll see what else there is in the game before I can rank it against Majora's Mask. But I will say this. I've had the time of my life for the last... So it's Thursday now. Well, no, it's actually Friday. Technically. For the last week, I have had the time of my life. I've played over 70 hours of this game. I have seen so much, done so much, spent so much time wandering around that I'm actually losing count. I have my criticisms, and I did talk a little bit about them in my first impressions. But overall, this game is phenomenal. I will do a spoiler talk, but not today. This is just a tiny little update. I feel very accomplished. The only thing is, it was a bit easy to cheat the final boss because of something that happened to me. In fairness, even if it hadn't happened, it would have still went like that. I guess I can tell you this, but I had a Savage Lionel bow by the end because they made me fight a fucking Silver Gloom Lionel. At the end, like, on the way to the final boss, and to put it simply, I shot every single Gibdo bone I could at the boss. And the actual final boss, like the final phase, was not as easy as Dark Beast Ganon. But I can tell you now, it's not nearly as it's not as hard as, say, the sword fight in Twilight Princess. And that's okay. The final phase of both games was meant to just be a giant set piece. Thinking about it, I don't think the Master Sword is compulsory. I think it helps. The game kind of hard filters you, and I don't think you can pick up enough weapons to beat the final boss. I know that Gymnast beat the final boss in 94 minutes. I haven't got any idea what the big difference is. I'm expecting it to be a second ending, so I'm not going to talk for too much longer. But yeah, Tears of the Kingdom. I do the joke about it doesn't matter, but this is high up on the ranking, and I'd call it a 9 out of 10 preliminarily. I don't know. Probably. It's a bit hazy. I don't do number rankings, but I wanted to kind of get one. So, as for where Zelda can go from here, I'm expecting more of this Link and Zelda. Personally, I would have them star in an animated series. I think that would work far better with their day to day. But if we continue on, we need a new kingdom. The best thing about Majora and the Oracle games is that none of them take place in Hyrule, but the opening cutscene and a flashback in Majora, and the opening cutscene in the Oracle games. I think the Triforce transported Link. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I loved this. I really did, and I think breaks my heart to say, but I think Zelda should take a bit of a break. Not because it is in any way bad, but because, well, it deserves to. Like, the team deserve to work on something else if they want to. The game has plenty of surprises. Unfortunately, the majority of them were spoiled for me. But despite me playing within a week, unfortunately 4chan got the game first. And you know what that means. This game meant the world to me, and it's made up a very long period of my life now. I spent 4 years actively waiting for the sequel to come out, and I've spent 6 years thinking about what the sequel could look like. Ever since a good friend of mine, way back in 2017, about a month after I beat the game, so we're talking sometime in April, a friend of mine called Michael said to me, "Where do they go from here? Because Ganon's dead." Naturally, I hadn't even considered at the time that Ganon in Breath of the Wild is not actually Ganon at all. But not the point. The answer was, of course, that we actually fought Ganondorf. I will confirm that, you fight Ganondorf. I won't go into the fight at all. The game shouldn't have given me a Savage Lionel bow. I'm sorry. Like, I had Demon King bows as well. You'll find out about them when you play. But, yeah. I've had a great time. The temples in the game were phenomenal. I don't know about when I did my first impressions, but I beat all of them. I won't confirm how many there are because it's kind of complicated. But yeah, the story, they still need some work. They still need to work on it a little bit. I think that they should ditch the memories as a way of telling the story. Because the problem with the memories is Link sees these memories of what's going on in Hyrule 10,000 years ago. Still after Ocarina of Time. Still after Zelda 2. Just want to throw that out there. I have a timeline theory, I will talk about it soon. I can do it with minimal spoilers. But yeah, I'll be back in a moment, I think. Okay, so, fascinatingly enough, there was a post-credit scene. Pretty good, yeah. Provides a little bit of closure to one character. It does bring up another point though. Central to Breath of the Wild was the relationship between Zelda and Link. It seems here that they just don't get to have that really developed. I could be missing something. I could be missing some journals or something to develop it, but realistically, I had hoped for a bit more. Also, like, I understand that we've moved on from the champions from 100 years ago, but it would have been nice to see their presence beyond Mipha, who, well, it's all very... In absolute fairness, does all remember Mipha, whereas Dorito, the Gorons, the Gerudo, none of them are, aside from one or two Gerudo, are likely to remember both Revali and Daruk. So it's probably that. The fact that, well, it's the same reigning king in Zora's Domain as when Mipha was around. So maybe that's why. But yeah, I would have liked to have heard a little bit more about them. You can get the old amiibo armour through actually playing the game, which I want to make it very clear is compulsory for games. I didn't approve of the way it was in Breath of the Wild at all, and I'm glad that they've fixed that mess, because let's be honest for ourselves, not acceptable, is it? But there was the entire quest for one piece of armour, my favourite armour, may or may not have been fighting Ganondorf in it, the Fierce Deity armour. So that makes 2 Zelda games now that, let's be real, it makes 3. I've probably beaten Calamity Ganon in that same armour. But yeah, I loved it. I really did. I have had the time of my life with this game, and yeah, I think people should definitely play this game at least once in their lives. It's revolutionary, actually. I think this is a game changer for gaming. I think that this is the standard that all games should live up to from here on out. Having said that, it's not my favourite game of all time at the moment. At the moment, it's probably somewhere between, I don't know, I don't have a solid ranking, but for the record, this isn't me being I do think it's phenomenal, but, you know, it's not perfect. It didn't have to be perfect. I am very fond of what I did with this game. So, yeah, if you, if you want to see more content about this game, I'm always happy to provide. I love Tears of the Kingdom, and we'll be playing this game for a long time to come. I haven't really gotten a chance to talk much about gameplay, so I can't really say this is a proper review, but I will say this. I was very disillusioned with Breath of the Wild because, well, it was a bit too much of a departure from Zelda. You know, the 3D series had certain tenets, like certain pillars, that I personally believe that it should have upheld. I think this brings us one step closer to completely fixing the problems that I had with Breath of the Wild, and one more game in the trilogy with all new abilities that you gradually get throughout the game, as opposed to the whole chuck them at you one by one in an opening area and move on. However, having said that, I know that Aonuma and Co have absolutely no intention of going back to the Ocarina of Time formula. I suppose I'll have to live with that. But for now, for this moment again, a Zelda game has won me over. And to be fair, Breath of the Wild did towards the end of my replay as well. I spent a lot of time in Zelda the last few months. I was playing the Oracle games on my 3DS. I was playing Link's Awakening on my Game & Watch. I was playing Zelda 2 on my Switch, which I will be now that this is done. I think. Not soon, but soonish. And everything about this game, I was very, very, very glad to be able to play. I've waited a long time, and I'm going to stop rambling now because I've been talking for 15 minutes, my throat hurts, and let's be honest, you don't care. But it's all good. I'll be back with real gameplay soon. It's just saying on Malgo's effort. And I didn't want to spoil anything, so... And believe me, at the point of the game I'm in, everything's a spoiler. But yeah, so... I am immensely glad that we were able to play such a wonderful game, and I hope Nintendo keep on creating experiences that are actually memorable, because I'm not going to lie, the rest of gaming ain't doing it for me now. So, with that, I leave you. Have a great time, guys, and I will see you very soon, because we still have so much planned for this year.